If you're trying to decide whether or not you want to take your dog to a dog-friendly event in town, there are a couple of things that you need to consider. Today, there's a dog-friendly event happening in my town. I know some of the people associated with it, and I understand that there are going to be other dogs there. So I have to make a choice on whether or not I'm going to bring my dogs. They are encouraging people to bring their dogs, but not every dog is suited for a public event like this. So I want to take into consideration where the location is. Where is this event happening? Is this going to be conducive to bringing a dog, or are there some dangers? Do I need to be hyper aware of things? Is it something like a craft fair or a farmer's market where there are going to be low tables or things that my dogs can snag while we're walking? Is this going to be somewhere where there's going to be a lot of other dogs, or is there a high potential for being stepped on by humans? So I want to take all those things into consideration before I decide whether or not I'm going to take my dogs. And then I need to know my dog's personalities. Some of my dogs are a little bit anxious around other people and other dogs. I'm probably not going to consider taking Lucy to this event because she has a little bit of anxiety that we're still trying to work through. You've been following our journey over the last year with her anxiety, and she's done so well and then regressed a little bit. And so we're working on it a little bit more with her. I am considering bringing Gemma and bringing Ember, who I oftentimes pair together when we go on park walks. You know, when I take my dogs on park walks, I take Lucy and then I take Gemma, and my mom usually takes Ember. And so I take Gemma and Ember together because they're more evenly paced and they like going out together, while Lucy likes to be the star of the show and likes to go on her own and go at a much faster rate than all of the other dogs. So I'm considering taking Gemma and I'm considering taking Ember. Ember wouldn't be a problem. She's a tiny dog. We could scoop her up if we need to. But now I have to take into consideration what Gemma is going to experience. She is non-reactive to when we're passing other people and we're passing other dogs in the park. But she also has not been in super public since she was a baby. So this would be her first time. I don't necessarily want to test her in a high intensity environment where there will be lots of other dogs, where there will be lots of food. We know Gemma has some resource guarding that we've been working heavily on for the last year, and she's been doing incredibly well, but I don't want to place a trigger in front of her. I don't think it will be an issue, but I also want to make sure I'm really taking care of everything that's going on. And we've got some big plans this week. So if she does get grumpy about something, that could set off the rest of the week in a negative light. So I had to take into my thought process what I'm going to be putting my dog in environment-wise. Do I want her to learn? Yes, I do. I've been wanting to take her to some more populated places that are not the park to just kind of see and examine and see how she does around other entities. I've been thinking about taking her to Lowe's or Home Depot so that she can walk around stores, but have less dogs, but more of like the sights and sounds and things that we can then learn how to appropriately walk through without bothering. She's been doing so well in the park that I kind of want to try her on this one. But I also know that tomorrow we're going to be doing some really big events, and I don't want to do anything that would disrupt what we're doing tomorrow. So as you're considering this, I want you to start thinking, is my dog appropriate for this environment? And is this environment appropriate for my dog? Even though it's dog friendly, even though they're encouraging you to bring your dogs, it might not be a great fit if your dog is not properly socialized, if they have any anxiety, if there's anything that potentially trigger them, or if you as the human are going to have to deal with a lot of external factors. We know when we have our dogs with us, we need to make sure we're being mindful of what they're doing and how they're doing it. If I were able to go and just solely focus on Gemma while I was walking her through this big dog picnic event that I'm going to, I could do it. It wouldn't be a problem. I could hands-on teach her, talk her through things. I don't think it would be an issue. But I also know who I am in the community and who is going to be there. I understand I will be stopped to talk. I will have to stop at different tables and vendors and different events. I'm going to have to socialize with people. And that means my eyes will be off of my dog and my attention will be off of my dog. At which point I am not going to be able to stare at her to make sure there's no issues with other dogs, to make sure there's no issues with people like coming up to pat her, and to make sure she's not scooping things off of the ground or grabbing something from a vendor, which, I mean, she doesn't really do. But if I'm not actively watching her, she's still young. There is a possibility, there is a world where if she understands that we're just standing here for a prolonged period of time, she's going to get bored and she's going to find something to do. So all in all, I have to understand the environment, the dog, and what's happening around us. Is it a great choice for me to be taking her? I'm making that decision. And right now I'm leaning more toward no, there will be other opportunities to teach her and to engage in this kind of thing, even though it will be so fun to take her to her very first open public event. Then you have to make those decisions as well. What's going to be the best fit for your dog right now in this moment? And are there going to be better opportunities? Once you make that decision, then you can make sure you are taking care of your dog and you've got them properly leashed, harnessed, ready to go, and you've got your eyes on them. Hopefully you have some other people to help you with the oversight of your dog while you're out and about as well. And you can choose whether or not an event is going to be a good fit for you. We've talked about farmers markets. We've talked about other public events. So drop your questions down below. What things could you potentially be taking your dog to that you want tips and tricks for to help you make the best decision for your specific dog? I have 3 dogs. They have 3 different personalities. They have 3 different skill levels. And so I'm able to do certain things with certain dogs that I can't do with other dogs, or I choose not to do with other dogs yet until we develop a little bit stronger in certain areas. Lucy's going to be able to do things that Gemma's not going to be able to do, and Gemma's going to be able to do things that Lucy's not able to do until we foster a couple more steps with them to get them to where they need to be to go to these events and to do these different things. And your dog is probably very similar in that you have to decide, are they fully prepared? And is this something where I can best take care of them despite what's going on around us? Making those decisions for you and your pup. Following for daily videos as we help you navigate the world of your dog parent life to help you level up for your pup to give them the best life possible with the least amount of stress on you. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.